with Comeback Yoga. And Comeback Yoga is a nonprofit organization that offers free yoga classes and trainings for veterans up and down the Front Range of Colorado from the east to the west coast. And so, tremendous organization. If you can help out in any way, we sure could use your help. And let's go ahead and get into our practice. So we're going to have a little bit of it. We're still going to do upper body, but we have a emphasis in this class. And the emphasis that I've been given to talk about is presence. Presence. And so when we're doing the moves, I'm going to cue you and notice some subtleties as we are present to the pleasant sensations. Way easier to notice presence with pleasant sensations, more enjoyable. And so let's look for the pleasant sensations and the presence that we can notice during the exercises. Okay, so let's go ahead and sit up straight, shoulders back and down, lengthen through the back of the neck, broaden through the collarbone. And then let's go ahead and look to the left. Now notice the tightness as you look to the left. There's a certain level of tightness on a scale of 1 to 10. You look for the sweet spot. All right. And then go ahead and release and notice that that intensity drops down that scale of intensity. All right. From like a 4, 5, 6 to 0. And just be present. Just notice the difference between tight and light. And then we're going to tighten up again, looking to the right. We're going to look over that right shoulder now. And breathing, no pausing in the breath cycle. In through the nostril, out through the nostril. And on that scale of 1 to 10, we're looking for the sweet spot, the 4, 5, 6 level of intensity. And then release. All right, and then working with the neck again, we're going to look over to the left and then look up. Look up and over to the right. And then we're going to look up again, looking up. Now, even your eyeballs go to the top of your head. And then now dropping that chin. These are important because we are stimulating certain cranial nerves in the nervous system. And when these cranial nerves are stimulated, the nervous system relaxes. Okay, and then just be present and notice. All right, and then let's go ahead and open up the shoulders. So go ahead and grab your right shoulder or your left shoulder with your right hand, and then pressing. We're going to do 3 times. We're going to press into that elbow and release. And then for 7 seconds, 3 times, the PNF stretch. And then release. And then coming back into it. Now notice just the tight. And then just notice light. And just notice that you're present, aware, and you can notice the difference between tight and light. We'll build on this over the next month, but just this simple observation, this direct observation of what it feels like to feel tight. Okay, you're pressing into the hand and then relax. Now light, notice the difference. And then pressing again, tight. And then relax, and then that's light. And then one more time. And then tight. And then releasing, and then that's light. Just notice the difference between tight and light. Again, we'll expound more throughout the month as we go through the classes on presence. But for right now, just notice the difference between tight and light. And then let's go ahead and open up those shoulders, the goalposts, and then we're gonna slowly invert those goalposts and then back. And then what we're doing is releasing the fascial system in the shoulders by doing several different stretches so that we can open up that shoulder girdle. And when the shoulder girdle opens up and relaxes, the lungs can breathe a little bit easier. And you can find that posture more easily where your shoulders are backing down, lengthening through the back of the neck and broadening through the collarbone. All right. And then release. And just notice the difference between tight and light. Tight and light. And then let's come back to the goalposts and we're going to draw those elbows in and then bring them back out. Now here you want to go as far as you possibly can, pinching that pencil in between your shoulder blades and then coming back. And then notice the tightness as you press in and then back out. And just be present to that tightness. It's a little bit more subtle, but tight and light. Okay, tight. Fascially opening up that shoulder girdle and then relax and release that. And just notice the difference between tight and light. All right, continuing. Here we are. We're going to come into a spinal twist now. So taking your left hand, put it on the tailbone, take your right hand, put it on the outside of your left knee, then lengthen through the top of the neck, and then looking over your shoulder left, looking over your left shoulder and breathing into the nostril, out through the nostril, finding the sweet spot, and breathing, and look for any pleasant sensations, and then release. And then right hand to the tailbone, left hand to the right knee, and lengthening through the back of the neck, and then looking up and over your right shoulder, and breathing. And then release. And then the next pose, it seems like it's a lower body exercise, but it really is an upper body exercise. And we're going to do a wide-legged squat. This wide-legged squat will help open up the pelvic girdle, readjust the hips, and allow the spine to start to reorganize in a way that we can align. The spine will align itself just using gravity. Now you want to meet yourself right where you're at, okay? Meet yourself right where you're at that 4, 5, 6 level of intensity, and breathe. No pausing in the breath cycle. Look for any opportunities for any organic breaths. And then some of you might have been doing this class for a little bit. And so I'd like to invite you to look more and more at those opportunities where the mind is still and you are just present here, now, content. All right? Present. The nature of presence is that it's always here and now. The nature of presence is always that you're always content. All right? And just breathe. And breathe. Now, we're not going to do a full 2 minutes, but I invite you to do 2 minutes a day. 2 minutes a day, I've had students report back to me in miracles. Okay, all types of physiological issues start to take care of themselves. All right? And then we'll come down. You can go ahead and sit down and your legs straight, and then just give a little tapotement. Can you see how my legs are just bouncing? That little soft, it's called tapotement. And look for any place. I just took a nice big organic breath. Okay. And then we'll come back to seat. All right. And then let's do some cat-cows, working on that spine. I'll give you a side profile. Like the cow, as you want to lift up through the sternum, drop the head back, broaden through the collarbone, and on that exhale, go ahead and tuck the chin, pressing your head, and then back into the movement of the cow, back into cat. No pausing in the breath cycle. No pausing in the movement cycle. Happy spine, happy life. Happy spine, happy life. And then come back into center. And then we're going to go ahead, and we've just got a few minutes here in the proper ending of the time, but we'll stimulate some cranial nerves, vagus nerve, and balance out the brain. Okay, so let's go ahead and give yourself a hug, right arm over left, and then just give yourself a hug. Now, when we're talking about presence, when our nervous system is in parasympathetic nervous system, and when the heart rate is dropped and the nervous system feels safe, we are present. You notice that you're more present. Okay? You're always present. It's just whether you're aware of it or not. Okay? So dropping the heart rate and switch it up, left arm over right. Okay? Now, you can see me giving myself a hug, but what this is doing is putting oxytocin into my brain and dropping the heart rate. Okay? And then let's go ahead and link left and right hemisphere of the brain, stimulating the hypothalamus. Okay? Stimulating the hypothalamus allows us for the brain to relax, and we can be here and now. Here and now. And being here and now is a reflection of presence. Here and now. And so this little linking of left and right hemisphere of the brain will allow us to see here and now. The next exercise we want to stimulate is the prefrontal lobe. So thumbs on the temple, and then just massaging the forehead, bringing that blood into the prefrontal lobe. And breathing. Curious, open, allowing, and loving. And then shake it out. And just notice and be present to the sensations. All right, and then a little tap up the one arm. And then tap down the fronts of the legs to the backs of the legs. You just give a little tap, and then touch the left shoulder, the right knee, right shoulder, left knee. Crisscross applesauce. Crisscross applesauce. And then the bones of the face. You want to tap the bones of the face. All right. Right in between. Cheekbones are good. And it should be done real soft, real easy. Chin, collarbone, and then right over the top of the head, right to about C7. All right, and shake it out. All right. All right, so let's bring the practice into the day. All right, so feel the tailbone into the mat, lengthen through the back of your neck. Can you notice your spinal cord, that line of energy from the tailbone right through your spine to the top of your head? Draw your shoulders back and down, broaden through the collarbone. That is grounded and centered. Grounded and centered. Breathing in through the nostril and out through the nostril. That will calm your animal brain down. In through the nostril and out through the nostril. And then always find the sweet spot in everything you do, that 4, 5, 6 level of engagement where you are engaged yet relaxed. Engaged yet relaxed. And then throughout the day, look for pleasant sensations, any opportunities for the body to relax, big organic breaths, or any opportunities for the mind to just be relaxed and you are present here, now, and time. I want to thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me today. Always an honor, always a pleasure, from one veteran to another, and all those that care for us, love us, and support us. Namaste.